And December is here. For many, this means time for some well-deserved holidays, time to gather with close friends and family, and in particular for Christians, it is time for one of their main celebrations, Christmas. As one of the main religions of the planet, it was obvious that Christianity would make its way to the art on coinage of the countries that followed it. So today, let's take a look at how Christian symbology was depicted on ancient coins. Let's go. Although various types of coins are mentioned on the stories of the Bible, such as the widow's mite, the tribute penny, or the shekel of Tyre, all of these coins would have been struck by authorities from other religions, namely the Greco-Roman ones from the Roman Empire and the earlier Hellenistic kingdoms. The mentions of money are always deeply associated to the idea of state power. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's is nothing but further proof that the right to create money was a privilege of those who had the force of the state and of the armies. During the first 300 years of its existence, early Christianity would be subject to periods of tolerance and prosecution, but it would not have an official presence in state affairs, and consequently, no presence on coinage, until the reign of Constantine the Great, when, according to legend, a series of supernatural events would change Christianity's path. As Constantine was marching on Rome against the usurper Maxentius, he was struck by the vision of a cross over the sun, as he felt a presence instructing him with the words, "In hoc signo vinces," under this sign you shall conquer. Modern scholars attribute this supernatural event with a sundog, a natural phenomenon that refracts the sun rays, generating halo effects which distort the light coming from the sun, giving it a cross-like shape surrounded by a halo-like border. Natural phenomena or divine intervention, what we are certain of is that Constantine instructed his soldiers to draw the Greek initials of Christ on their shields, a chi and a rho. They marched unto battle with inferior numbers and utterly crushed Maxentius. He was convinced the Christian God was real, and from that moment onwards, wherever his armies marched, the chi rho would be his standard. So with Constantine in power, we start seeing the very first depictions of Christianity making its way into coinage, albeit very subtly at first, and still very incorporated in the militaristic imagery the Romans would show on the coins of the time, which were very troubled ones. So the best way to illustrate this is with our first coin. This is Constantius II, son of Constantine. His long reign was plagued by internal as well as external wars. Between the years 337 and 361, he would strike coins just like this one, where he asks the Christian God to intervene on his favor, just like that God did with his father. On the obverse, we can see Constantius wearing a pearl diadem, holding the world in his hands, with the legends Domino Noster, Constantius, Pius Felix Augustus, or Our Lord Constantius, dutiful and pious emperor. The reverse shows how early official Christian symbology was embedded on deeply militaristic motifs. We can see Constantius holding his father's standard with the Cairo, stepping on two captives with the legends Felix Temporum Reparatio, the restoration of good times. So with the passing of time, Christianity has established itself firmly as the Roman state religion. The surviving eastern half of the empire, known to us as the Byzantine Empire, would make extensive use of Christian symbology on their coins, as the position of the emperor became more of a mythical figure directly instructed by God to lead his people, instead of the first citizen used by the previous Romans. So for our next coin, we jump 300 years into the future, on the reign of Heraclius, where we see the Roman style being replaced with a clearly more medieval one. This is a solidus, struck between 610 and 641. We can see the face of Heraclius and his son, Heraclius Constantine, both now wearing a crown with a little cross, and the legends Domini nostri Heraclius et era const perpetui Augusti, or Our Lords Heraclius and Heraclius Constantine, perpetual emperors. The reverse features a very old and traditional theme reminiscent of the Western Roman Empire. Victoria Augusti, or the victory of our emperors, but instead of the traditional Roman goddess Victory at the center of the reverse, a cross on steps occupies her place. This represents the cross on top of Mount Calvary, showing that the success of the emperor is clearly a gift from God himself. So as we enter the High Middle Ages, the Europeans are generally dealing with silver pennies for the vast majority of their transactions, and the designs tend to follow the pattern of a cross with the king's name on one side and some sort of simplified design chosen by the issuer on the other side. The Byzantines, however, maintained the Roman tradition of being very creative with their designs, and they always seek to send some sort of message through the imagery on their coins, in good Roman fashion. As we approach the feared year 1000, when many believe the second coming of Christ would occur, the Byzantines will start celebrating important holy figures on their coins as to distinguish themselves as a particularly pious nation. This next silver coin is called a miliaresion, struck under Romanus III between 1028 and 1034. The Virgin Mary was extensively celebrated by the Byzantines, and one of the most iconic scenes of her is depicted on this coin. Here we can see the Virgin HODEGETRIA, or Our Lady of the Way. She points at the young Christ as to show us he is the way to salvation, while the infant Christ raises his hand in a position of blessing to the observer of the coin. So with the religious obligations out of the way, the other side of the coin would feature the temporal powers, that is, the emperor wearing his robe and showing his right to rule, symbolized by his crown with a cross, his staff with a patriarchal cross, and the globe cruciger with a little cross at the top. The legends need to be read starting from the obverse and finish on the reverse, and translate to something like, "He who places his hopes on thee, O Virgin, will prosper in all that he attempts." Another really curious aspect about Byzantine religious art is the connection different mediums of art have between each other. A mere 20 years after the previous miliaresium was minted, we can see this other piece also depicting the Virgin Mary, but this time on a different pose, called the Virgin ORANS. This coin was struck in Constantinople between 1042 and 1055, under the reign of Constantine IX, MONOMACHOS. And what's fascinating about this coin is not only that it is very pretty, but that at the same time, in the Cathedral of Kiev, over 1,000 kilometers away, this massive 6-meter tall mosaic of the ORANS of Kiev was being commissioned. Some people think the images on coins of the Middle Ages are nothing but an afterthought of mint officials. I say the Byzantines wanted their coins to constantly show the latest on religious art. On the obverse, we can see the Virgin ORANS with the legends, the Blakernitissa, one of the names given to the Virgin Mary, and on the fields, the abbreviation for the Mother of God. The reverse, much simpler, states, Mother of God, protect Constantine Monomachos, our emperor. But come on now, the Byzantines are famous for their plentiful gold coinage, so how about we have a look at some more gold? A curious phenomena happened to Byzantine coins as they became cup-shaped, and no one really knows exactly why. It made the minting process more complicated, it led to common imperfections on the striking, but they just kept doing it. So some argument it was a measure against counterfeiting, others claim it helped on stacking. There are even some who argue that the sound of the coins inside of the purse would be more pronounced. Well, regardless of the reason, that makes it from some very unique coins like this histamenon, minted under Emperor Constantine X DOUCAS between 1059 and 1067. On the obverse, we can see the image of Christ sitting on his throne, holding the Book of Gospels and raising his hand on a blessing position, with the legends translating to Jesus Christ, King of Kings. The reverse shows the emperor on a very elegant jewel robe, with his crown, holding a labarum, and the globe cruciger, symbols of his divine right to rule. The legends translate to Constantine, DOUCAS, Emperor. Now, remember I mentioned we're getting close to Christmas? Well, if you're watching this video before the 13th of December 2020, and you really like any particular one of these coins, I have some good news for you. These coins are going to be up for auction at that date. How about that for a Christmas present? And I say that because I'm proud to announce that the channel Classical Numismatics is being sponsored. And what a joy for me to say we're being sponsored by an auction house I've bought for years now, particularly when I was just starting out to collect. And that auction house is Savoca Coins. December 13th, they will be doing their 91st silver auction through bidder.com, where these and other exquisite pieces will be up for auction. They also generally organize around 2 big auctions every month with coins of all price ranges. So even if you're not watching this video by the time of the auction, definitely check them out at savoca-coins.com, as there will definitely be something interesting coming up that can fit your budget. They also have a store on Vcoins, an eBay page, and have always been a pleasure to work with. So any questions? Just make sure to get in touch with them, and I personally couldn't recommend them more. Well, now it's time to hear about you. Have you got any coins depicting Christian images? Do you practice another religion and own a coin with special significance to your religion? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe so you get a heads up when new videos are uploaded. I hope you all have a great time, and see you all soon.